English is undeniably weird. There is no other way to describe its startling inconsistencies, its arbitrary rules of spelling and grammar. Yet somehow this all must be to English's advantage, for it is the most widespread and global language, and certainly one of the richest and most expressive to boot. So why is that? Now, this weirdness manifests itself in three main ways: pronunciation in English, the lexicon of the language, and interaction with other languages. Pronunciation in English feels random. In no other language are there so many words that are spelled the same way yet have different pronunciations. For example, in English we have heard and beard, or paid and said, or for and tour, and many, many more. In another language, say Finnish, a K will always make a K sound. An L will always make a specific sound. Yet in English, we have syllables such as O-U-G-H, which can be pronounced 8 completely separate ways. Perhaps an anecdote that shows the absurdity of this the most is the fact that the word in English meaning the study of pronunciation, orthopy, itself has no definite pronunciation. Yet these strange and sometimes altogether non-existent rules of pronunciation do offer a hidden advantage. Many languages are limited in terms of the size of their vocabulary, simply because they do not have enough sounds available to fill them. Take Italian with 27, or Hawaiian with only 13. English, on the other hand, because sounds do not directly map one-to-one with the letters that represent them, has a vast well of phonetic building blocks to fill its immense lexicon. The English vocabulary is simply massive. Compared to other languages, many argue that English is the richest simply by sheer word count. Some might argue that this is untidy, and that English is cluttered with a vast plethora of seemingly needless synonyms. After all, how many people use the word sternutation to describe the act of sneezing? Yet this variety is undeniably an advantage, for it lets English speakers express shades of meaning that simply aren't possible in another language. As a small sampling, we can distinguish between home and house, continual and continuous, childish and childlike, something that a language like French, say, simply cannot. This variety and expressiveness, and really many of the weird rules of English, can be traced back to a single trait: English's unique position as the melting pot of Western language. English is perhaps the most absorbent language. While it is technically classified as a West Germanic language, English, by some rough statistics, incorporates more words from Latin or French than it does from any Germanic tongue, including Old English. And this is a large part of the reason why English has so many particularities. It can't squarely be defined as a Germanic or a Romance language, because it was so greatly affected by both groups. English takes words from scores of different languages, most notably the original Anglo-Saxon, but also Roman, Greek, Dutch, Old Norse, and French. You get fancy synonyms for upper-class professions and foods, like mutton and beef and bacon, from French after the Normans conquered the British Isles. You get basic pronouns and grammatical structures like they, them, and their from Old Norse after the Viking expansion. This adoption of other languages has given English an expressiveness few others can rival, and has allowed it to become the first nearly global language. In its 1500-year history, English has gone from being an obscure language used only by tribes at the fringes of civilization to becoming the most widely spoken and recognized language. It has done what all great languages must, enabling countless thinkers and masters of the language, like Shakespeare, to formulate their ideas and release them to the world. It certainly has its faults. No languages are perfect, for they must necessarily be an imperfect medium to convey one's thoughts. However, if you ever are thinking about the strange particularities of English, perhaps you should stop and briefly ponder how these quirks may in fact be its greatest strength.